just carry on. For those of you that are joining us online, we're all drinking tea and eating cake.
And donuts.
So, yeah, it's not very good for the waistline. We're going to start by singing Stand Up for Jesus. Don't worry, you don't need to stand up. You can remain seated. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross.
Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift high his royal banner, it must not suffer loss. From victory unto victory, his army he shall lead, till every foe is vanquished, and Christ is Lord indeed. Stand up for Jesus, the trumpets blow away. All through the mighty conquest, release his glorious name. The earth and surrounding, against unnumbered foes. And God is rising danger, and strength to strengthen those. Stand up for Jesus, standing in strength alone. The arm of flesh will vary, he cannot trust your own. Good proclamation on, and watching unto prayer. When liberty calls on rangers, we never want it there. Stand up for Jesus, the strife will not be long. This day the noise of battle, the hymns of victor's song. To him that overcometh, the crown of life shall be. He with the King of glory shall reign eternally.
As we approach our time of prayer, we're going to sing together this lovely chorus, As the Deer. I actually went to Petworth Park while we were away, but the deer were right over in the distance, so I didn't get very close to them.
That's the Jesus problem.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one I took, but I didn't actually get very close to the deer this last time. I made the mistake of parking in the furthest car park, and I knew it was a long way from the main house, but it took an hour to get from the main car park to the house. And then guess what, ladies? When I got there, the ladies' toilet was broken. And I thought, oh, dear, oh dear, oh dear. And then the electronic door on the disabled toilet wouldn't close. The man's going, press the button. I'm like, I am pressing the button and it won't shut. So anyway, I know this is being filmed, but you can all work out where I ended up. I didn't say it, I just said I had to find alternative facilities. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you.
As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone
all-seeing and all-knowing God, forgive us for so often deceiving ourselves and trying to deceive you, refusing to admit or accept our mistakes. Forgive us the excuses we make for not following you or accepting the way of the cross, blaming anything but ourselves when we let you down. Forgive us for pretending to be better than we really are, avoiding that which we find hard to accept or do not wish to understand. Forgive us for willingly accepting half-truths and for deliberately inventing untruths. We find it so easy to deceive ourselves and so hard to see ourselves as we really are. Yet you see us as we are in all our sinfulness, and still you love us. Help us to accept the freedom your love brings, and in being honest with ourselves, to be honest with you. Help us to come to you just as we are, and find true forgiveness, real peace and strength to live as your people. Amen. Now shall we say together the Lord's Prayer. Our
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I should explain, of course, that it actually took me more than an hour to get from the car park to that house because I did have my camera with me. So on the way, I was taking lots of photographs, and as David knows, that adds a lot of time on. So it probably actually, I think it took me 2.5 hours, but realistically it's a 1 hour walk. So
We'll forgive you.
I know, it's a long way. But yeah, so I was chasing butterflies and all sorts, but no deer on that occasion. Now shall we join together in singing this lovely, lovely, lovely song? Light of the world, you stepped down into darkness and opened my eyes, let me see. Beauty that made this heart adore you, hope of a life spent with you.
Thank you.
morning is a very, very well-known story. Luke 19, verses 1 to 10. As Jesus was passing through Jericho, a man named Zacchaeus, one of the most influential Jews in the Roman tax collecting business, and of course a very rich man, tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowds. Yeah, I heard that. So he ran, and that bit wasn't in the Bible reading. I heard that. So he ran ahead and climbed into a sycamore tree beside the road to watch from there. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down, for I'm going to be a guest in your house today. Zacchaeus hurriedly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the crowds were displeased. He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner, they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, Sir, from now on I will give half my wealth to the poor, and if I find I have overcharged anyone on his taxes, I will penalise myself by giving him back 4 times as much. Jesus told him, this shows that salvation has come to this home today. This man was one of the lost sons of Abraham, and I, the Messiah, have come to search for and to save such souls as his. Amen. And yes,
That's not what we've got.
I am also short.
5'7".
like poor Zacchaeus, but I'm no good at climbing trees.
Well, that's not meant to be there, so click on.
Go on, David.
Okay.
I'm doing the right thing, Spanish.
That's it. I don't know what that
I'm going to Spanish.
is. Meant to be there, though.
I'm going to Spanish.
No, you've missed it off the
So it is meant to be there.
yeah, you've missed it off the meeting.
Go back
Sam.
and get them all.
Because if you remember, you'd missed it off altogether and you added it
Oh, go
in.
back.
This is the whole
Back,
thing.
back.
So we are seeing it. You just missed your meeting plan.
Sorry, guys. I'm confused, Dr. Not
And then we'll have the full. Are we all right?
If not, we'll make it up as we go along.
Well, I think so. We know
What's the difference? You don't have a plan.
We went to see some live music this week, and the guy starts playing, and then he says, "Oh, hang on a minute, I'm in the wrong key," and I chuckled and I went, "Stand up, just like you."
I wish I could play like that, though.
Yeah, no, he was really brilliant. He had a really nice singing
Well,
voice.
if you haven't got your gap up.
You saying I haven't got nice skills? I think everybody knows the answer to that one. They shall come from the east, they shall come from the west, and sit down in the kingdom of God. Both the rich and the poor, and the spies and distressed, they'll sit down in the kingdom of God.
Right, ready when you are. I think it's quite funny that we're going to sing this after that photograph you showed me. Zacchaeus, of course, we have to sing this. So, looking at the week ahead, coffee morning on Thursday at 10 o'clock and home move at 6:30, and then next Sunday our worship will be led by David at 6 o'clock.
No, there's no mistakes on that.
No, it's got 53.
Ah, see, I kept up the tradition.
Michael will just pass the basket all the way round. Michael, pass the parcel.
Tradition.
That's it, that's it. No, Michael, just let pass it round. And Michael, that's it, sit down, Michael. I don't know what you've done, but I'm not panicking, just Shall we pray? Lord Jesus, we are grateful for these gifts given this afternoon. Please help us to use them wisely. Right. There are hundreds of sparrows, thousands, millions. Well,
Yes. Well,
do you know, actually, I wish there were. You don't see as many of the birds, butterflies, bees. This year is really noticeable. Walking around last week, normally you'd have heard zzz, but no, bees, very few and far between. Even pesky wasps, few and far between. Hardly any butterflies, where normally you would expect there to be an abundance of them. And yes, you do see a few sparrows when they want to be cheeky and pinch David's bait. They like to, when he's not looking, they like to sneak round and pinch a piece of sweet corn or something like that.
Lots of maggots.
But there are definitely not the number of birds and butterflies and bees, etc. around. There's lots of pigeons. David in particular is very familiar with the fact that there are lots of pigeons. You can ask him about that afterwards. I did try to shout a warning, but he didn't get out of the way in time. That's all I'm saying.
Supposed to be lucky.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
That's
that.
what I
At
told
least
you.
it wasn't a seagull.
Or a penguin.
Suzanne will tell you about that one afterwards.
That was years ago, though. You don't have to be talking about that one. So there are hundreds of sparrows, thousands, millions. There are 2 a penny, far too many there must be. Of course, when this was written, I'm sure there were.
There are hundreds of sparrows, thousands, millions, and too many, far too many there must be. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of sparrows, but God knows everyone, and God knows me. There are hundreds of flowers, thousands, millions of flowers, there's a little there for all to see. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of flowers, but God knows everyone, and God knows me. There are hundreds of planets, thousands of billions, way out in space and transit ways by God's decree. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of planets, but God knows everyone, and God knows me. There are hundreds of children, thousands, millions, and yet their names are written on God's memory. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of children, but God knows everyone, and God knows me.
Yes, David and I were highly entertained by a little girl called Sasha, weren't we, on Friday evening?
I did.
She decided that she would come over and start chatting to us. Well, my goodness, she was a real live one, and she was very, very entertaining.
Hello, who are you? Can you guess my name?
It begins with a S, and then it's got an A.
I'm quite Susan. I did that first.
No, the second letter's A. So it was Sasha.
Sasha. And she was Sasha somebody. Not just Sasha, she was Sasha, I can't remember the other two names, but Sasha somebody, wasn't she?
But I don't have a number 4 name.
No, that's right.
I only have 3. Now, Mum and Dad were on the next table, but my goodness me, she was entertaining. She was absolutely, but so polite. And it was somebody's birthday, and so the people very sensibly have got loads of cupcakes. So they took cupcakes all round to everybody to have a cupcake. Me, of course, you know, I didn't have one, you see, because I'm trying to be good.
Guess what?
But he's
Yeah,
what's really funny was, so you know he's got the habit of wrappers and he twists them up and he put it on the table. Well, she instructed him that was not where that wrapper was to stay. It was to be tidied up
Put in the bin.
and put in the bin.
I'll not put in my place.
No, that doesn't stay there. That has to go in the bin, she said. Absolutely brilliant. So,
She doesn't need a boyfriend.
no, she doesn't need a boyfriend because she's got an older brother.
Yet. No, she's not
Yet.
allowed a boyfriend
Yet. Yeah.
because she's got an older
But she's
brother.
got an older brother. That was her older brother had said that. But they were a lovely, lovely, lovely family, and the kids were absolutely great, and they did really keep us quite entertained. So yeah, where would the world be without children? We'd be lost without them. So, our talk this afternoon, I have entitled "Time to Put Things Right." So as we go through this, hopefully you'll keep that thought in your minds. Time to put things right. So Zacchaeus was the chief tax collector in Jericho, and he was not popular. The taxes charged were excessive, and there was no protection for hard-working taxpayers. And of course, on top of the official high taxes that were paid to the government, tax collectors added on extra for themselves. Zacchaeus became wealthy by using his position as a tax collector to take as much as he wanted from people. He overtaxed them. But he had the full support of the Roman authorities, you see, as we read in the, had heard in the Bible reading, you know, they thought highly of him. And so really, the people couldn't complain about him. They couldn't do much about it. In his boss's eyes, he was a good tax collector, he got the money in. Does some of this sound familiar? How long ago was that written? But we think about now. And it's been in the news that as people are struggling more with paying bills, and this is basic bills, and putting food on the table, feeding their children. I mean, we're coming up to a time when a lot of young people are changing schools or starting school. You know, the summer holidays is a time when parents have to start thinking about school uniform. And they will be given that list now. And so be told that this is what you need to get for September. And I remember even way, way back when ours were at school. And Joe left school 12 years ago. That list would cost £300 to fulfil to the basic level. And because of that, people are taking desperate measures. And a lot of people can't, maybe they've already maxed out their credit cards, they've emptied their savings, maybe they can't take out another official loan, they are in a pickle. And they are turning to money lenders, the unofficial money lenders. And what do? They charge ridiculous interest rates. They're not regulated, they can do as they like. Like Zacchaeus, they can just add something on. There's no checks before people borrow from them. And you probably won't get a piece of paper saying, well, this is the interest rate you're going to pay. These are going to be the weekly repayments. They can change the terms as they go along. They are desperate, but unfortunately, this just makes their situation worse. Because these people are only interested in getting their money back. And listening to one of these guys being interviewed, he said he literally doesn't care how he gets the money out of people. And if he has to resort to violence, he will do it. Banks have said that withdrawals from savings accounts have reached a record high. But of course, in the end, these reserves will run dry. These are challenging times. And whilst we need to look after ourselves, we must look out for others too. Be aware, and people don't find it easy to share their difficulties, especially if they feel that in some way it's their fault. And sadly as well, while we're in these difficult times, people get tempted to do things that are perhaps a little bit dishonest. And maybe they've not thought about doing that before, but when people are desperate, that's what they'll do. And interestingly, because I actually prepared this a week ago, something came on Facebook yesterday, and those of you that go on Facebook probably would have seen it because it went on like the residents page and Peckham page. Someone was saying that their daughter had gone into Aldi, and Aldi had asked to look at her empty, her shopping bags before she put her shopping in. And they'd previously been next door into B&M's, so they've got a bit of shopping in there. And loads of people do that. Pop into B&M's and go into Aldi. And I won't go into the whole thing, but they have said it is because they're having to do all of these checks because theft from the shop is so high, really high. And that is a shop where actually you can go and get a big trolley full of shopping for £35. You can fill a whole trolley and get more than enough to feed your family, clean the house, everything. People are desperate. And as I say, unfortunately, sometimes people just don't find it easy to just come and say, actually, look, I'm in a bit of a pickle. Can you help? But people like this, and went back when Zacchaeus was doing the tax collecting, he would have been exasperating people's situation. Because I would have been thinking, how on earth, oh no, he's coming up the street, what are we going to do? How can we pay him? But when Jesus walked through Jericho, people were flocking to see him. And Zacchaeus wanted to know what was going on. Now we'd be the same, wouldn't we? If all of a sudden a crowd was gathering over there, we'd be like, what's going on? What's going on? And I expect we'd be sending Gladys over there to find out, as in naughty Gladys. Gladys I, not the other Gladys. Yeah, you. Because Gladys can get away with anything. Yeah. We'll send her over in a naughty hat. Don't worry about it, Gladys. You just that's don't worry about it.
I thought I'd been naughty again.
Never. No, never.
And I think I've told a lot of you before that my nan was great at wanting to know what was going on and having to go and find out what was going on. And my nan was she slightly shorter than me?
Oh yeah.
She was a little bit shorter than me, wasn't she? That's why I get my short jeans
Even
from.
then.
And she would go and say, excuse me, who are you? I mean, my poor granddad, he was just so, he was thinking, oh dear, was so embarrassed, but she always had to know, if there was a stranger in the close, she had to know who they were. But of course, poor old Zacchaeus, he was short, so he climbed up into a tree so he could see what was going on. And I know that feeling. I will sit in a theatre. I think, great, I've got a lovely view, and the tallest person that has bought a ticket that night, and I can't see a thing. So I've learned to always try and book 2 seats on the end, so that then, if somebody does that to me, I can at least do that. So he could see what was going on. But of course, what did he do? He separated himself from the crowds, didn't he? So he wasn't in all that crowd, but because he went into the tree, there he was. He was obvious. You might think, oh, but he was in a tree, he was hidden. No, he was obvious. So Jesus could spot him, he could see him. Now Zacchaeus must have been surprised, don't you think, when Jesus spoke to him? Can you imagine the reaction from the crowds? We know that they were displeased. Can you imagine the gasp? Oh, what's he doing? Why is he speaking to him? The noise of the reaction must have probably built as people started to realise, why is Jesus speaking to him? Does he not know who he is and what he does? To make it even more shocking, of course, to the crowd, he says to Zacchaeus, I'm going to come back to your house. Jesus, of course, he knew exactly what he was doing. By spending that time with Zacchaeus, showing him that the way he was living his life was wrong, Jesus was actually helping thousands of people, wasn't he? He was helped by just spending time with Zacchaeus, who of course was causing thousands and thousands of people so much pain and hardship and worry. The actions of one man were having that massive impact on so many people. Zacchaeus, having met Jesus, said that he would give half of what he had to the poor, and anything he had taken that he shouldn't have, he would repay fourfold. Zacchaeus made things right, and he turned his life around. So he made things right, turned his life around, but also, because of that, thousands of people were helped. No more did they have that stress and that worry. No more would have they thought, oh no, Zacchaeus is coming. They would have thought, oh, if I'm getting a tax rebate today, hey Michael Hayes. That's lovely to get a tax rebate.
Lovely.
Lovely job. See, there's so many things connected. A week ago I wrote this, but he knows. He knows. We don't know what's coming, but he does. So if Jesus came walking through East Peckham and asked to stay at your house, now I know you don't all live in East Peckham, but if you're in East Peckham, you're here now, so if he came walking through, and regardless of where you live, he said he wanted to come and stay at your house, go back with you after the service and spend some time with you, go to your home. Is there something that you would need to put right? Is there something you would need to put right? Because just like Zacchaeus, whatever we do, our actions, our decisions, whatever we do, quite often will impact those around us, whether it's those that we share a home with, whether it's our friends, whether it's our family, whether it's a much wider body of people. Let's say if we are at work, people in our workplace. So I would say if there is something that you need to put right, don't leave it until tomorrow. Don't leave it until tomorrow. Or the next day. Please put it right with him today. we are going to finish by singing Rejoice, Rejoice.
That way. That one.
Right. Should we start again? See if we can get the right stuff. Because on the way, where we are weak.
Yeah.
I think it is a secret.
That's right. Go back one more and you'll find
That
it.
one, David. Oh no.
So that's first verse.
And now there's a time.
That's the third.
So what that one does, you start again.
Just quick ones, Michael. So the first verse now is a time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Click
good.
again and again. Though we are weak.
Yeah. Which is the third one. So you've got them two there.
Right, so they're the wrong way now. Okay.
That's what we know we do now.
Oh god.
Neither's wrong.
Start from now.
So start from now is the time then, Michael.
What was it?
Back one. Back one more. That's it. No. Go on. Back one more. That's it. Stop there.
Michael was about one sing. Good game, good game.
Good game, good game, good game.
Now is the time for us to march upon the land into our hands. When we work in the ground we plant. We rise in majesty to lead us into victory.
May the peace of God reign in this place,
and the love of God forever hold you tight. May the Spirit of God flow through your life, and the joy of God hold you day and night.
Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Amen.
Amen.
Good night and God bless you all.